What's up, everybody? Welcome to Marriage Unmastered. It's me, your host, Henry, and my beautiful, amazing co-host, Shireal.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? We are so excited to be here on this evening. We have some special guests with us tonight, Dauren and Joan Francis from Not Easily Broken on IG. And they are going to discuss our topic tonight that is called In It for the Long Haul. So first, I would just like to welcome Dauren and Joan. Hello.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For
Hey,
having
guys.
us.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here with you guys this evening. Absolutely.
Thank you. We are excited too. So we have really been following you for quite some time now, and we noticed that you have just celebrated 29 years of marriage. So we are inspired by that. So Henry and I will be married 9 years this year. So we are running behind you,
Yeah.
trying to keep the pace of keeping a healthy, happy marriage. And that's really what this podcast is about. So we just wanted to have a conversation with you on how do you do it? What have you done? We know that you're Christian marriage coaches. And that's one of your what I think it is your, I don't know if it's your mission, but empowering couples on effective communication. You have books out. You're doing a lot of great things through your marriage ministry, and we're just so inspired and wanted to have the conversation with you.
Thank you. It's really good to be here. We're also inspired by you guys also.
Absolutely.
Just really blazing the trail and being transparent with a lot of the content. You know, listen, I'm always listening, always watching, laughing at some of the reels that you guys are doing. It's really informational, and it's also help us to understand that there's so many different dynamics to marriage, you know, and so everyone comes with marriage with different mindset, different culture, background. But at the end of the day, there are still basic principles that transcend all of those different things, you know, where you were born, culture that you come from. And, you know, we're just excited to be here with you guys tonight to really unpack how we did it for 29 years.
Yes, guys. And 29 years is a long time, right? And as you can see, time is just flying. It's just leaving us. And, you know, you got to do what you got to do like right now. But coming up to the 29 years, guys, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it was always peaches and cream. We've had our share of, you know, stuff.
Up and down, cycle, and again, out again.
Yeah, but, you know, like you mentioned, we are a godly couple. We're kingdom-minded. Absolutely. And that has been from day one. Yeah. And when you put God at the helm of everything, then everything else under that becomes a lot more easier.
Absolutely.
That's definitely how we survived this far in our marriage. From the beginning.
Survive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been times, right? Especially in those first 2-3 years, I always say it was like God was stripping us down to become one. It was a very tough time during those 2 years. So we wanted to ask you, you know, how did you meet? How did you two, you know, find yourselves together?
Man.
You see how he lit up? He lit up for this question.
This is dope question. Well,
you've been waiting for this story, huh?
Man. Yes, absolutely. This amazing, fantastic, beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful, sweet. I mean, I could roll on and on and on because she's my queen. We actually met in kindergarten. Yeah. I've known her all my life. Like literally, she walked in kindergarten. I take one look at her and man, I've been looking at her ever since. We've been the best of friends throughout our whole entire life. So this is not someone that I just met maybe 29 years ago and we just have that moment like, hey, you're the one. No, we're the best of friends. We have been the best of friends. She used to talk to me about boys that she liked. I used to talk about girls that I liked when we got older. And long story short, you know, 17 years old, I saw this beautiful, amazing, gorgeous lady kind of just unfold right in front of my eyes. All of a sudden, her breasts start showing out, her hips start swinging.
Okay.
And I'm like, girl, I don't want just no best friend no more. And she didn't like that. She was angry at me for trying to date her. I mean, we went to the same church, we went to the same school. We got baptized in the same baptismal service. We got saved in the same convention. I mean, it's been a lifelong friendship. And yeah, I kind of just decided that, you know what, man, I can't be friends with you all your life and then some other dude just come in and take you. Nah, it's not gonna work. So yeah, man, I switched it up on her. And yeah, baby, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I was very, very upset at first that he wanted to, in my head, in my mind, mess up a good friendship by wanting to, get to know me more.
Yeah.
But let me back up a little bit. He was talking about meeting me for the first time in kindergarten. But just to add to that our families knew each other.
Yeah.
We grew up in adjoining communities. So there was a lot of history there. So it's not like I just popped up in kindergarten so you get the story. But I'm sorry, I got water.
Mm-hmm.
It's been real, and being very upset at him. Sorry. But then, getting to understand, because at that point in my life, I grew up very sheltered. I didn't know, much about the birds and the bees, like they say.
I turned her out.
Okay. All right. Okay.
It's okay. This is what this platform is for.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no shame, y'all.
We
I'm
like
telling
the
you.
rawness.
I have
We
no
like the
shame,
raw.
man. Listen.
He just makes me laugh every time he says that. But I was very mad at him, and I didn't talk to him for a minute. And he literally like chased me around town. We were 17, 18. And then, he kind of like asked me. He kept on asking and asking, and he never stopped. Like he always says, no means new opportunity.
That's it.
No is not no to him. It meant new opportunity. And it took me an entire year before I said, okay, we'll try. And I did write him a letter.
And I have the letter. I want to show you.
He normally tells the story about the letter. I wrote him a letter, like just laying out, the land, saying, okay, this is what I'm expecting. And I didn't know anything about relationships or anything, but all of this came out of me. The letter was dated.
Eliminated it.
I showed it to our boys, and they're men now. Yeah. This was written April the 10th, 1989. This was the first letter she wrote me, giving me an opportunity to prove to her that I am the man of her dreams. We're both born and raised on the island of Jamaica. That's where we're from. Mm-hmm. So we actually had a long distance relationship, because in 1989, when she wrote me this letter in April, in June, my mother decided to move to the state. So we had a long distance relationship.
4.5 years.
For 4.5 years, we had a long distance relationship.
Really?
So my mother moved from Jamaica when our relationship was just in the embryo stage, in the infancy stage, and it was a long distance relationship. So I have all the letters. I kept some of them in my office just to show people as we do podcasts and we do interview and we counsel couples. And so these are some of the letters that she wrote me over the years, guys. Hey, there you go, long distance relationship. These are some of the
cell phones and
no cell phones, or none of that stuff. And these are real handwritten letters. There was no internet, there was no live chat, there was no video chat, there was no social media, there was no FaceTime. It was just snail mail.
Right.
Some of y'all don't remember that. As you listen to this podcast, you don't know what that looks like. But I just bring you back to how old we are. Yes. Yeah. And so yeah, we had a long distance relationship, and I think it was in 1993, my mother said to me, "What are you going to do with that beautiful young lady in Jamaica that you've been dating and I said, I'm going to marry her. And she said, well, you better do something about it. And that was it. I went to Jamaica and I spoke with her parents and asked for their blessing to marry their daughter. Her father actually had some serious choice words for me,
Of
you know,
course.
and I proved to them that I am absolutely the man worthy enough to take the responsibility to father their daughter. And yeah, that's how we got started. You know, pretty amazing story. And that's
That
just
is-
kind of that's a quick overview of the whole thing. But
Yep.
yeah, it's we've been around town for a while.
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
Wait, you crying?
No, no. Right.
I'm gonna need to get some popcorn because this movie is good.
This is good.
I knew it was an onion that we're gonna start peeling back those layers. But y'all,
Yeah.
So talk to me. So I think this is a good opportunity because, like you said, our generation don't know about snail mail. How
No,
is
they
it
don't.
maintaining a relationship? So you were just waiting for letters every week.
We wrote every day.
Like
Mhm.
as soon as you know,
post one, we
we
come
will
back and write
mail
one.
one, you would start writing again.
Yeah.
You know, so that was kind of our way of keeping up with
Yeah.
without, you know, like a long span of time in between. So I'll get a letter today, in the next 4 days I'm getting another one.
Yep.
Yeah. 4 or 5 days.
That's how we did it, and it's been like
Yeah.
it was like that for a while. Of
Mhm.
course, we have family. My sisters, my older sisters, were living there at the time, and my two younger sister came up with us. That was my mother and my two younger sister, and so every year I would still visit and get to see her, you know, but it was still hard because she's the love of my life. She's the one that I wanted to marry. Of course, there were a lot of other women here that wanted to pursue me, and there was other women that I liked too. At a young man coming to the state, see all the beautiful ladies, and but there was just something about her that captivated my heart, man. She was like a magnet that just kept pulling me in. And it doesn't matter the girls that were coming at me and me looking at them. There was just something about Joan that I couldn't get out of my mind. And I went back to Jamaica. We got married, and here we are. 29 years later, still fired up about her, still loving her, still loving God. And but we had our shares of things that we navigate through to get to where we
Yeah.
are, but it's been a wonderful journey, and God has been the center of it, and I want to do life with her for the rest of my life.
Me too, babe.
That's how it's going to be.
Aw.
That's
Joan,
it's
how
gonna be.
about you? So you were in Jamaica, and he already said you were stunning, right? So I'm sure you had young men coming after you. Was it easy for you to maintain that long distance relationship? Did you know he was the one?
Well, you know what, like I said, you know, when I told you before, took a year before I said yes. And then so we started dating, and yeah, we got, you know, attracted to each other, because remember, first it was just friendship. And
Mhm.
so I can't tell you that at that moment I knew he was going to be the one, but eventually he became the one, right? And
I
so
was just the kind of guy you can't resist. You could say that.
and
You know?
that is actually true,
You
you
can say
know.
that.
It is true.
You can
He
say that.
has this way
You can
about
say
him.
that. You can say it.
And I gotta just add to what you just said about the magnet.
Yeah.
I am still that magnet until today. Better believe it. I'm still that magnet. He chased me around the house all the time, Shireal. Yeah, I'm still that
I know how to
magnet.
create love, man.
But
I do.
it wasn't
I do.
really easy. It was hard at times, but you
Mhm.
know, through both of us like having jobs and, you know, working and church and family and having, you know, just to occupy our minds with other things. You know what I'm saying? While we're dating, and yes, we keep connected. So that's what made it possible, you know, just not, because if you're gonna just sit down and think about, oh, I wonder what he's doing, I wonder if he's dating other girls, you know, it's just gonna drive you crazy. So you just try to
Yeah.
focus on other things,
Yeah.
you know, while you still have that main goal in mind.
Mm.
But yeah, here we are 29 years later.
29 years, man.
Can't believe it.
29.
It's a long time, but like I said, time is just slipping by.
29 years.
It's unbelievable.
We've been married.
It's just like we got married the other day when you really think about it.
And we've been married longer than we've been single.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing. Yeah. You know,
That's good.
in a culture when people are changing their wives and changing their husband and finding a reason to get a divorce, we just find a reason to keep loving each other.
Amen. Yeah.
That's it.
That's beautiful. You said, Ms. Joan, you mentioned something that I want to bring out. You said he became the man that you fell in love with. And to your husband, you were already the wife that he was looking for.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I want to dig a little deeper. How long did you lose your friend in that process?
I never lost my friend. I never
You
did.
just had to adapt.
Yeah. That's it.
Just adapted a little, had to change a little bit of how you work together.
Yeah.
Yes. So we were friends. We became best of friends. And through dating, we still maintain that. And until this day, he's still my best friend. So there was no loss there. I never lost a friend.
But as they said, there is a shift. There was a dynamic shift in the relationship.
Of course, shifting from being a regular friend,
to be
male, female, to being more intimate.
Yeah. And then eventually you become husband and wife.
Yeah.
The transition was not really hard, but it was also work that we had to do because
absolutely, yeah.
Because people say that, you know what, knowing each other since we were kindergarten and growing up together and being the best of friends and then falling in love, you would think that everything is just going to be smooth sailing, because that's just the culture that we live in. Everything is just being polarized, and it's Photoshop and it's filtered, and everything look absolutely flawless when you look at these reels and just things that happen in the content creating space, but the truth be told, that we had to learn how to love, because I didn't know what it meant to be a husband when I got married. I know that she is a woman of my dream. She's the kind of girl that I want to marry. Just beautiful inside out from a young age, just watching her change and the metamorphosis and the transformation that took place.
Yeah.
I thought that now that we are in marriage, we just continue on this beautiful road of bliss. and life is good, the sex is great, and all of that, and there's nothing to worry about. And then all of a sudden we have an aha moment that we were ready for getting married, but we was not ready for the journey of marriage. And it was while we are in marriage that we learn how to navigate. We were young, eventually I went to Jamaica, got married, and then I filed for her to get her papers, and she came and we started a family. And while we were, she got pregnant, shortly after she came up. I couldn't wait, man. I just planted. I'm joking. It was the first one was not a plan. It was not planned. We just found out that she was pregnant, and there goes our family dynamic now. It's not just us running around and just hopping from hotel to hotel, just having fun on the weekend, to now we're thinking about starting a family. And my wife can even talk more about that, because it changed the dynamic. We had to we were in college, in school, while we were maintaining a family. She was going to college, getting her degree, while I am working and taking care of the kids while she's going to school, and we do vice versa. So it's been a journey, but one of the powerful thing about it is that we have never lose sight of who we really are in the process of becoming better, becoming one. We just learn how to glean from each other. She is absolutely an amazing wife, amazing mother, but we were not necessarily like this when we got married. We become one, and we are constantly in a perpetual state of becoming.
And through counseling couples, they always ask, how did you stay friends? How did you even get to 20 years, moreover, almost 30 years.
Yeah.
And I think about what you're saying, becoming one. I don't think that it takes 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years to get to know someone. I think it takes a lifetime.
Absolutely.
You never stop learning. You never stop learning about Henry, and Henry will never stop learning about you, Shireal. That's just how it is. Because all of a sudden, my husband would just probably say something that I never thought in a million years he would say. And it's worth a laugh, and we laugh about it. You know, he lost his mom in 2016. And that's when I knew that I was the funniest person alive to him. Because I would say these things to try to break the ice when he felt down about losing his mother. And
it was a very dark place. I was in a dark place.
He was at a place where, I don't know, all of a sudden I was just telling these jokes that I didn't even know I had in me, you know, just to try to lift his spirits. And he always commend me on that I really helped him through that particular time that he was going through.
That's the power of love, and it's the power of marriage. Yeah. It's knowing that at your weakest point you have someone that can also be your strength. When my mother passed away, for about like 7 days I couldn't sleep. I just didn't. I was numb, like literally. And I just watched my wife transform into a person that would make me laugh. And I find myself laughing at her jokes ever since. It's amazing that and it's real funny jokes. It's like that part of her was hidden until I needed that part of her the most. And that's the power of oneness in a marriage. You know, we tell folks all the time that when the Bible talks about the two becoming one, it's not just when you get married, it's a constant cycle of becoming. You know, my wife and I, we've been married for 29 years. And I think about like 45 years ago, we was in the back, in the backyard on the patio, and we were having dinner, just chilling down, eating and just having fun. You know, sometimes we do date night right in our house. We just go outside and chill and just, just enjoy life, man. And we're in the back, just eating and just talking. And I was like, babe, I got something to tell you. And she said, what do you have to tell me? I said, listen, for, I don't remember how many years that was. I think it was about like 20, it was our 26th wedding anniversary, whatever. It's been a long time. So whatever year it was, I said to her, since for all the years that we have been married, I have a confession to make to you. And she was like, what kind of confession? I said, I have had multiple partners with you for the years that we've been married. And she said, what? And she was like, what are you talking about? I was like, time out. Let me fix it.
I know you about to go with this.
Yeah, time out. Don't kill me now.
Wow.
And I said, I just realized that all the years that we've been married, I fell in love with all the different changes and cycle that you've been through in your life. I said, I've learned to adapt to all the different issues and cycle and changes that happens in your life. And I said, it's amazing that that's what love really looks like.
Yeah.
That's what love looks like. And she was amazed by how I said it. And she looked at me and she said, actually, I think you're right, because I fell in love over and over again with, the same man, but there's multiple version, of me as I grew, become a better, more mature husband, more stable in who I am as a leader, taking that role, just stop eating red meat, and that messed her up for a long time. Every time she asked me what I want for dinner, I'm like, hey, chicken, fish, and she was like, get mad and frustrated. She would ask me that for months until she finally realized that her husband doesn't eat red meat anymore. And so there's just different changes that goes on in life and in marriage that you have to adapt to. And unfortunately, most people don't realize that, it doesn't mean that you need a new spouse. It just means that you need to change your routine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
This has been beautiful. This is, first of all, I'm already in love with you both. I'm like, this story is, you got to write this down. Did you write this memoir of your love story already? I would definitely buy that and read that.
Well,
It's so
yes, actually, we
beautiful.
have a book, Built to Last: Successful Marriage and Relationship. We talk a little bit about it, but we are actually in the process of writing 2 books. One is already done, just need to go through the editing process, and that is solely about sex. And then the other one that we're doing is a book, same title as our brand, Not Easily Broken, and that's going to highlight the whole entire process. And so, yeah, there's a lot of writing inside of us that we have to bring out. So yes, you're right about that. That it's going to be.
I can feel it. I can feel it. Automatically, I'm going to say I had to hold myself, but the book about sex.
I knew the question was coming.
Tell us about that. Like, what is that exactly, specifically around sex in your marriage, sex, the transformations, like?
Yeah, we're still working on the title for the book, but the
Okay.
content is already written.
Mhm.
Being married for 29 years and counseled many couples over the years, my wife and I, we realized that when we look at the sample, when we look at the assessment, when we did the data, based on assessment that we use, every time a couple reach out to us for counseling, we give them a questionnaire that they have to fill out. It gives us an idea of what they're going through,
Right.
and how we can be a source of help to them, how we can give them a plan of action. So the questions that are asked give us an idea of what they're going through. One of the key questions that we ask in that assessment is, what brings you to couples counseling or coaching? What are some of the problems that you're having? And how would you like to spend that 60 minutes or 90 minutes, whatever time we have in that assessment? And they always, almost 90% of the time, is communication, and trust and intimacy. And when we put that in a Google Doc and do an analysis on that through a spreadsheet, we realize that using those keywords, we realize that it shows up in almost all of the counseling sessions. Communication is number one, trust and intimacy. Those are the 3 key things that we realize that a lot of the couples. And so based on that, we decided that we start to dig deeper into what causes these issues. And I came up with the idea, my wife and I always use it as a sounding board for things that we do or I'm doing relating to marriage and life and business. And I decided that we should write a book about marriage, a book about sex. And it's not just the bedroom. I don't want people to think that it's just about the bedroom, because that's not where sex is started. Sex actually starts in the brain. It starts in the mind. It starts with how you treat each other outside of the bedroom. And so I think that people on a whole are not necessarily experiencing the highest level of consciousness and sexuality. And that has a lot to do with sometimes culture, how they were raised. We have a chapter solely talking about pornography. We talk about how it's actually impacting how people experience sex. We have counseled men that are in their 30s and having ED problem, and it's not because of the fact that they are going through some sort of an illness. It's just because of the way their brain has been wired, because of constant exposure to pornography and sexual perversions and all those different things, that they don't see their spouse as the one that give them that high sex drive and sex stimulation and all that kind of stuff. And so, we dig deep into a lot of different things. Money problem can impact the way sex is, is viewed, especially for wives. My wife talks a lot about that in the writing, that when the money's funny, the sex is funny too.
Funny.
That's it right there. That's it right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
but
so it's a lot.
When you mention the word sex, people's minds immediately goes to the bedroom. But I agree with my husband that sex does not start in the bedroom. And as long as we get that in our head,
Mm-hmm.
then, that area in our marriage will be better. It's about how you treat each other during the day.
Yep.
Texting during the day. It's okay to text your wife or your husband during the day. The emoji eyes and
Yep.
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
We do that stuff so much. And you know what he does to me, speaking of which, sometimes I'll send him a nice little message and he posts it.
Yeah, I do that a lot. I post, but not all of them though. Not all of them. The ones that are not really like rated R. You know what I'm saying? Just.
And I'm like, why are you posting my text? It's supposed to be between us, but I get it. It's a way of inspiring couples to say, see, you can do this too. This is what we do. You can do it too. It works. But it's about how you treat each other, how you speak to each other. Even your tone in marriage matters.
Absolutely.
Your tone matters.
Oh, yes.
You can't just go around being angry all the time because you're upset. You upset your husband or you upset your wife and everybody's angry. That's not, the way to go about marriage. And so once we get that in our head, that sex is not just about the bedroom, it just doesn't start in the bedroom, then we'll be so much better off.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful thing. It's one of the most amazing things that God created. Adam took one good look at Eve and he lost his mind. He said, my God, you're bone of my bone, you're flesh of my flesh. I would call you woman because you came out of me. I believe that God is such an amazing God. The way he created the woman, God said, let us make man. And then he said, he put man to sleep and he created the woman. There's difference between making something and creating something. When you look at the woman, the way her body is positioned, and no wonder men lose their mind just looking at another. And that's the reality of what love and sex is really about. And so we talk about the different dynamic between the man and the woman, the male and the female. Yeah. And I think one of the things that has been lost in our society today is that people don't take the dynamic or the different aspect of the man and the woman, the male and the female, the biological difference between us. Because there, as you can see, that there seems to be a gender war going on right now, which is dumb. It is the most stupid and silliest thing that I can ever see. And please don't edit that. You keep that in there. Let people know the real talk.
Thank you. Let us keep that in there.
It's dumb. It's ridiculous. And that's why there's a conflict in relationship today, because there's nothing more beautiful than a feminine woman. There's nothing more amazing than a masculine man. And when I talk about masculinity and femininity, we're not talking about the overrated stuff that we see. We're talking about you understanding how you were created by God and how that brings a different aspect of love and intimacy. Every woman comes from the seed of a man. And every man came through the womb of a woman. Yes. How in hurt are we at war with each other when there's no possible way me being a man can actually compete with you being a woman, when God created us both for each other? That is the reason why when it comes to sex, it requires two people, the man and the woman, according to the biblical standard of marriage, come together and create something special. Anytime a man and a woman get together in marriage and have a sexual encounter, something powerful happens that you cannot explain. You just have to experience it in the confine of the holy matrimony of marriage. It is a beautiful thing, to the point where the Bible says in Genesis chapter 3 that Adam knew his wife Eve. And the word knew means that they had a great sexual encounter. There's a cataclysmic explosion that must take place in a marriage. And if you're not having that, ladies and gentlemen, you need to find out why. Hello?
Yeah. I think I just want to say this too. I know you guys don't have a title for your book yet, but I've heard you say, both of you say this at least 5 times. Sex doesn't start in the bed. That might be your title right there.
Yeah.
I've heard you, and I'm sorry. The more I hear you say, I'm like, there's their title. I don't know if you know, I'm a writer too, and Henry and I, we're writing a marriage book, and we also have a planner about intimacy that we're putting out right now. It's with the editor. So I hear titles. When I hear people speaking about their work, I'm like, but I feel like that if that's
That's a
not
good
it,
one.
somewhere along those lines, like, because
You
it
have to
really
write
makes
that.
you
You have to
think
write that down, babe.
It
sex
makes sense.
doesn't start
Yeah.
in the bedroom.
Yeah.
It's,
It doesn't.
it's a
You
mental
know,
thing.
It
And
is
it
a
takes,
mental state. Yeah.
it takes, in our planner, we talk about, before you get to the bedroom, there's all these things that need to happen for preparation throughout your day. Like we talk about the texting, and we talk about, like remember when you were young and you were dating and you were getting ready for your date, there was all these preparations that had to
Yes.
happen.
Mhm.
As a woman, we're shaving our legs and doing our face, and we're making sure we smell good, look good,
Yep.
and when you're married, you don't want to really lose that. You still
True.
want to be excited and prepare for your romance. And I
absolutely.
feel like it just in the getting in the weeds of marriage and children and cooking and cleaning, and sometimes we lose that, and we have to make sure that we continue to keep
That's
that
right.
alive,
Yeah.
because then what happens at the end of the day, if you're not planning for it, it's not happening.
It's not
There you
gonna
And
go.
happen.
you're
Yeah.
tired and you're not in the mood and it's not exciting. It's like, let's just get it over with. Like
Yep.
We don't do that. My wife would tell you that lazy sex. No, it's not happening around here. And unless she just in that space. May I just say this really? One of the big problem in relationships today is we expect it to work without us, and it can't.
Wow.
It can't. We forget that we are in a marriage.
That's powerful.
We are
That is-
membership in the finest, most elite institution that God created. And people are violating their membership because they get married and think that all of a sudden it's just going to work. Our marriage for 29 years just happened just because we show up. We went to work. We create the marriage that we want. When it comes to sex, I learn everything that I need to learn about my wife, the anatomy and the physiology of her body. Her body goes through a cycle every 28 days, her period, menstrual cycle, and PMS, and all those things. I know the hormone that creates that estrogen, and men have testosterone. Why, when a woman initiates sex with a man, it creates a higher level of intimacy, a higher level of sex drive. I understand every erogenous zone of her body. Hello. You can use your hands.
Okay, Dr.
Oh,
Francis.
You've been
Okay,
studying.
Dr. Francis.
It's really important for the man to understand that the woman was created by God to receive, and anything that she received from a man, she actually multiplies it. And so I became a love practitioner, literally, and I've been practicing love for 29 years with this amazing lady. And I am very good at creating love.
Yes, guys, he's an aggressive investor.
Yeah, because love is
Very
created.
aggressive.
It's created. God created the man to create. That's the reason why a woman is the help. She's frustrated because you're not giving her anything to help you with. Ladies and gentlemen, even sex is something that you give a woman to help you with. Be creative. Use your 5 senses: hearing, tasting, feeling, smelling, seeing.
Yeah.
We have no shame here. They don't. I'm telling y'all, hey, we have no shame because this is kingdom. This is kingdom.
This is.
I just want to add one thing. Like you were talking just now, you talked about, you're in a membership called marriage. And the thought just came to me that maybe if we look at it from the standpoint that, how we go grocery shopping at Costco's and we're all excited and we get the eggs and the vegetables and I
don't know if I'm excited about you spend all that money over there, but
I'm just saying, the thought just came to me and I'm sharing it. We get excited to go to Costco's because we have a membership there. Think of your marriage sort of like a membership that you're excited to get in there and do some work.
Yep. Or maybe,
you know what I'm saying? You get it?
Oh yeah.
It just came to me when you said that about a membership.
Well, the gym or you have
not literally, but
I know what you're
like
saying.
Costco's better, not the gym, because we're not really excited about the gym.
Terry sound like me.
It's
Sound like-
Costco's that's making me more excited.
Absolutely. But yeah, you know, it's one of the most elite club that you can ever be a part of. And unfortunately, too many people are violating their membership because of the lack of good character. And unfortunately, the good thing about it is that you can always reinstate your membership by following the protocols and the principles that governs marriage. You know, let me just say this, that we figured out the third year in our marriage that it will never work without the principles that governs it, and that is God.
That's right.
And the man and the woman need to come into the marriage understanding that when you say yes to your spouse, you say no to everyone else. When you say I do to your spouse, you say I don't to everyone else. When you say I will to your spouse, you say I won't to everyone else. So my wife becomes the most important person in my life. I have 5 sisters. I'm the only brother among 5 sisters. And 4 of them have great marriages. One of them is married for 27 years. One is married for 21. One is married for 13. And my younger sister is married for 11 years. So I'm not sitting here talking stuff about marriage and not knowing marriage. We have been married for 29 years, and I have been around relationships all my life. And what I'm telling you is it only works when you decide to work it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, people get into the arena of marriage and think that just because you say I do, that all of a sudden, or you're a Christian and you can speak in tongues and you can prophesy that you have a successful marriage. Well, no, it doesn't work that way. I know prophets and bishops and all of them stuff, they're on their 3rd wives. Just because they didn't take the time to build the marriage that they wanted. Unfortunately, marriage is a beautiful thing. Takes work.
I am so inspired. And I have to ask you, you know, through all of this, how did you start Not Easily Broken? Like where did that come from? Like what made you come up with Not Easily Broken? Where does that come from?
Well, I'll start and then my wife will take over a little bit on this. First, our ministry was not easily broken. It was actually After We Say I Do. That was the name. It was the brand, After We Say I Do. But because I know that God have given me a wife, and I understand that I don't do anything. We don't do anything. I have made no business decisions or any money transaction that can impact our finance or anything without consulting my wife, because I know what she carries. She is one of the most accurate prophet in my life because that's her assignment as a wife. Somebody will get that later. Y'all get that. I'm talking about the audience that are going to listen. They'll get that. And so one day I had an aha moment and I said, babe, I want to start like a retreat or seminars, workshops, conference with Not Easily Broken, with a NOT. And then she turned to me and she said, don't use the N, use the K. And I was like, why? Why the K? And can you just jump in, babe, and tell them why you said the K?
Well, I truly believe that, you know, I'm going to say this, God was speaking to me, because immediately as he came out and said that he wanted to use the NOT, easily broken, I said, but why don't you use KNOT? I mean, I know that a knot signifies, you know, something coming together, you know, and we're going to show you.
Go ahead. We're
going to show you a knot that we normally use to show couples. And I don't know where it all came from, honestly, but I said to him, use the KNOT, and he took it and he went online and searched to see.
Well, actually, when you said it, I wrote it down and said, I like that, but I did nothing with it for about like 2 years.
Oh, it was like a year and change.
Yeah, well, almost 2 years.
Right.
But what I did when she mentioned it, because I trust my wife, I trust her judgment.
This is why I like when you tell the story.
I trust her judgment. I trust her instinct. She is amazing at really giving sound advice. because I know her heart. She will never do anything to impact the rhythm of her marriage. That's just the way women are. They don't like things to become on what is it?
Right.
Unsettled.
Okay.
That's women. That's why when a man comes with an idea, especially when it's concerning money, she's asked how much it's gonna cost.
That's
because
a fact.
they concerned about the finances. So I took that, I wrote it down, and I went on Google, and I did the search on it, because I want to make sure that it's not a copyright or trademark name.
Mhm.
So I Googled it. I realized that there was nothing that showed up with not easily broken. NOT, yes, because TD Jake did a movie called Not Easily Broken. But there is, when I put the N, the K in front of the N, nothing showed up. And I said, oh, that's good. Then I went to GoDaddy and I looked at the domain name. It was available, and I purchased it right away. So for 2 years, it was just sitting there. And then all of a sudden, and at that time, we were building our ministry called After We Say I Do. We had about like 15,000 subscribers at that time on Instagram with After We Say I Do. And I'm like, babe, this is crazy. I think that we have to rebrand. And she was like, but the name, all the algorithm and the SEO and all of that stuff, we're going to like start from scratch. We're going to lose followers because you changed the name. And I was like, this is what God wants us to do. And I did it. I literally made the call, did the copyright, did the trademark, and then we start promoting it. Of course, people at first didn't like it. Oh, After We Say I Do was much better, but we knew that what God called us to do. We just knew that this was the right thing to do. And some people say, oh, Not Easily Broken doesn't make sense. How can a K sound like a knot? But it's actually a play with words.
Yeah. It is.
That's why we use the K. At first, it was, if you think about it, you're thinking about NOT, but you're looking at KNOT. So it's grabbing you at both points. It's grabbing you as a knot come together, and as a knot means that it's not going to fall apart easily. And so with that, we came up with a demonstration of the knot. So the blue and the white is actually the wife locking arms around her husband, which is the black. And then the black knot is locking arms around the wife. So the problem is in marriage is the gap. This is the problem. This gap here. That's what makes you weak. This is where the devil comes in, because the knot is not together. The wife and the husband is not together. You're in a marriage, but you're not one. You're in a marriage, but you're not yoked together. You're in a marriage, but you're not united together. So all the things that cause this knot to be weakened is what caused the enemy to come into the marriage. But I want to show you guys something. And we have done this demonstration all the time. No, you're going to hold my side because you're locking arms around me. I'm locking arms around you, right? So we're holding each other. So what we always do, and when we do this demonstration and workshop, we have like a long knot, a long rope. We have a longer version of this one. And we put a lot of things on there, like we have like infidelity. We have papers that would tie onto the knot, onto the rope, to show exactly the issues things that cause you to be distanced from each other. And so as we pull on the knot, it removes those things that causes problems that separate you. So infidelity, when you get rid of infidelity, you're getting closer together. When you work on your finances, you're getting closer together. When you have a strong relationship with God, you're getting closer together. When you have great intimacy, you're getting closer together. When you work on your finances, you're getting closer together. When you build trust, you're getting closer together. When you know how to communicate effectively, you're getting closer together. Yeah. And when you lock horns together, you become one. But here's the thing, and I'll do this part because I don't want to pull you off the chair. But here's the thing, with the weight of life, the pressure of life, the pangs of life, the issue of life coming against the two of you, you're stronger because you are one. And the more the weight of the relationship weighs on you, as long as you lock horns with God. And Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 12 tells us that a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. So I'm going to show you how powerful this is, right? Because I'm pulling on the knot, it's stronger because the two of you guys are in the pressure together while you're holding on to God and onto each other. And see how hard it is for me to pull it apart? And in order for me to get it to be weakened, I have to loosen the knot. I have to loosen the knot. Right? And look how easy it slides together. But when I pull on it again, the knot gets stronger. And that's what two people should be doing together. That when the weight of life, when the pressure of life, because you're committed to making the marriage work, you are stronger because you're not easily broken. And that's how the ministry came about.
I need you to put your cash app information on the screen.
Put your gift information, put your cash app. You need an honorarium for that, right? For that message.
We're gonna let them bless you.
Wow.
That's it.
Powerful.
I don't think there's anything else to say. They done gave us all the this has been amazing. I am so inspired.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
I just wanted to tell you, first of all, thank you, because not only are we inspired, I feel like there's so much confirmation for us that came through this conversation too, on the things that we're doing. And, and as you both know, it can be hard sometimes to push our, because what Marriage Unmastered is also a ministry. It was given to my husband through God, and he came to me and I was like, let's talk about this, but the journey has it has ups and downs, and I feel like this conversation has been so many confirmations. So thank you for sharing with us, for inspiring us, for giving us this free counseling.
You're welcome.
This is what I know you're doing in your workshop, so people are paying for this, and this has been amazing. Thank you. I'm just speechless. I'm so excited.
I do want to share one thing. I heard a word in my spirit as you began to talk about the membership and being in that membership that God ordained of marriages. I heard a phrase, exclusive access. Exclusive access. And I just wanted to share that.
Well,
whatever
write
that is.
Down.
Right. I'm like waiting for what is this?
Well, man of God, you're speaking from the Lord's voice, or from the Lord's ears from God's mouth to your ears, because my wife and I, we've been at one-on-one coaching has become a lot, and we are actually thinking about starting a membership portal. So when you said that, I just smiled, because I know that's one of the things that the Lord, because we still have careers. My wife worked as an executive for an accounting firm. No, not accounting firm. We transitioned from that from a law firm now, and I still work as an engineer. So we are not in full-time ministry yet, but it's pulling on us, and it's something that we're really considering in the near future. But God is good. I also want to encourage you guys to just keep going, trust God, trust the process, know what God has given you. There's close to 7.8 billion people in the world. God have already picked out the people and the regions and the territories for every one of us. You don't have no competition on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever platform you're on. Just know who you are, know what you carry, know what you got. Don't compare yourself, just love people, support others, and just keep doing what God have called you to do. These social media street can become very territorial and very, it is. People don't want to collaborate because they don't want to show, they don't want to share their audience. I don't own anybody. They're not my people. There's a difference between followers and supporters, and create supporters. Create supporters. If I could encourage you guys, go live a little bit more, as much as you can. Do live, because live allow people to know you. It's not the post, it's not the reel. It's when you show up live and you pour into them. That's when you build your audience. Because everybody's just doing reels, and everybody's You know, it don't matter if one person show up on your life. Just keep going live. That's how we build our brand. That's how we got our 90% of our clients. They came from watching us long enough and realized that our message have not changed. I talk about it. I talk about it all the time. You know, when I do live and stuff like that. And my wife's schedule, she's going to graduate next month, or she'll have a lot more time to.
I'm trying to be more.
Is it a PhD, doctor?
Not yet.
Yeah, but it's really important for us to really just know what we carry, know what we have, and know what we have to offer. Unfortunately, people don't understand how the kingdom of God works, so they think that there's competition. There's no competition in the kingdom.
Right.
There's none.
Especially too when it comes to women versus women. I think that we compete so much, you know, against each other that we don't even know who we are ourselves. And it's so important that, you know, even as wives, that we know who we are. Because if you don't know who you are, you can't share yourself with somebody else. Or how the question is, if you don't know who you are, but you're taking on this whole other person as a husband or as a spouse to yourself.
Yep.
So it's important for you to know you.
We're very controversial with our teaching because a lot of times we drop nuggets and stuff that make people, and it's intentional, but we're biblically sound.
Amen.
You know, when we tell folks that my job is not to make my wife happy, they what? All these ladies that I don't want that assignment. I don't want that job. It's not my job to make her happy. There's nothing in the Bible that speaks about happiness when it comes to marriage.
But when you talk about it, then we have to turn around and explain it,
People
you know,
don't-
because a lot of people don't get it.
There's no
Like you
happiness.
have to be happy coming in a marriage.
Happy,
You can't
yeah.
expect to put the burden on the other person to make you happy. That's basically what it means.
Happiness is so overrated in the body of Christ in marriage. It doesn't make me happy.
And when you understand scripture, when God
Mhm.
created Adam and he placed him in the garden, he gave him work to do. So Adam already had a purpose.
That's what it
He was
is.
already working. And then he created Eve from Adam and brought Eve to him. So then it was like you were brought into already a system that was working.
Right.
There you go. And that's why a man is not a man if he's not working. A woman does not fulfill a man. Sex does not fulfill a man. My wife does not fulfill me. The man in me doesn't need my wife. It's the male in me that needs her. The man in me needs God.
Yeah, that's right.
Because when God breathed into man, he became a living soul. See, God made the end, and then he breathed the beginning into man. So you have to go to the source in order for you to be the man that God have called you to be. That's why men, people even ask me, after 29 years of marriage, you cannot possibly be having great sex with your wife. What? What? Baby, what?
This is fun.
We're having the best sex. We're having the best sex of our lives. They have never been this good. Hallelujah to the Lamb of God.
Glory.
It was always good, but now it's better
oh
because it's more seasoned.
All the details and the intricacies and man, all the details. Now, man, I tell you, Lord of mercy, we need to just end this and just go get started.
Okay, let's go.
I don't think you listen. If you guys watch me live, you know I'm crazy.
Let's go.
It's just what it is, because marriage is supposed to be. It's supposed to be this way. It's really understanding. When the Bible says in Genesis chapter 2, verse 25, that the man and the woman, the husband and the wife, was naked and not ashamed. My wife is naked, literally. She is free to be vulnerable, and she's safe with me in every aspect of the word safe. And she knows it. She knows I'll protect her from my family, from everybody. She knows she's protected. Nobody start no drama and get my wife into it. It's not gonna work. They know.
That's
my
right.
5 sisters, they always say, y'all don't mess with Dauren's wife now. Don't mess with Joan.
That's right.
I mean, but I also told my wife, I said, don't start no mess in my family and expect me to be in the middle. I don't do that now. So as a kingdom man, I already set the stage from the beginning, and we are a happy family because of that, because God called the man to lead. And but as you talk about Adam being in the Garden of Eden, that's what God did. God gave the man work, because work is what fulfilled the man. Now, not a woman, is work. That's so when a good man, a godly man, a hardworking man lost his job, it don't matter how much sex he get at home, he's not fulfilled. He's still miserable. If he can't provide for his family, he just don't feel like he's being productive. But I don't know what's going on with these jokers out there now.
I was just gonna say the same thing, and that these men nowadays, like, they don't have a job, but they still expect things to be flowing as though.
You know what it is, babe? As I always tell it, they ain't looking for a wife, they're looking for their mama.
That's it.
They're looking for a mother, man, somebody that can mother them. They still want breasts, but they don't want to pay for it, Yeah, they don't want to work for it. They don't want to get up off their rusty dusty and become the man that God have called them to be. And that's why the wife is frustrated, because you have a man that sit down and know more analysis on the sports network than he does his finances. He's telling the coach exactly who to put in the game, but he doesn't know exactly who to put into the game of his own personal life to help him to be better. It's a mess, man. So we don't have a man. We don't have a male problem in our society. We have a man problem, and there's a difference between the two. But that's for another podcast.
That's why.
Yeah.
Wow.
So thank you guys for having us. We really appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Pleasure. This was good.
It was good.
I appreciate hanging out with you guys tonight.
This has been amazing. I feel like we need to meet in person. I have to find y'all, come to one of those workshops.
It's good. It's really a pleasure to be with you guys, and we enjoy this podcast with you, and yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
it was really good.
Thank you. And we did. This has been just great. So thank you so much. Shout out all your stuff. Let us know. Let our audience know where they can find you. Tell us all your info, your details.
Yeah, you guys can find us. Find my wife and I. We are all over social media at the same handle, Not Easily Broken. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Not Easily Broken. We have some new product coming out. We have a new ebook going to come out later this month, and we have 2 digital courses that will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. One of them is Healthy Habits for a Successful Marriage, and the second one is Break the Silence: How to Navigate Communication Issues in Your Marriage to Build a Better, Successful Marriage. And great stuff. Both of these ebooks are definitely, e-course or digital course is going to have a lot of tons of information, both video recording and PowerPoint slides, and just a lot of materials that you can digest in your own space, in your own time, to help you to build your marriage. 29 years of marriage, we got some things to say about it. And we're not afraid to say it.
Definitely.
We're sure not afraid to say it now.
And we love listening to it. So keep saying it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening, for your time. Congratulations on your soon-to-be graduation.
Thank you.
Much success and everything. And we'll be in touch. Y'all make sure y'all check them out. Not Easily Broken everywhere. As you can see, dynamic power couple, and lots and lots and lots of wisdom to give. So thank you so much. We'll check it out next time on Marriage Unmastered. Bye.
Bye. Bye.